And we're live. Welcome to Music Matters. My name is Jason Tramm, and I'm delighted that you could join us for our unique podcast community where we explore the issues and challenges in 2020 in the entertainment and music world as seen through the eyes of distinguished colleagues and artists and who the artists have had to they've had to adapt and they've had to change their strategies in this time. And it's really been amazing to hear the innovations and the strategies that artists have employed. So I've got a wonderful artist with us today, and I can't wait to share it with you. Please remember to subscribe to us on YouTube and hit that bell icon for the most up-to-date information on upcoming guests and topics. Like and share our videos on social media, and check out our website for our past 78 episodes and all of our upcoming episodes at www.jasontram.net. We have a fantastic artist today. We have Valentina MAMI, who is a Colombian-born and Los Angeles-raised actress, singer, rapper, writer, and dancer, and many other things. She's the child of Hollywood and of a film actors, and we're delighted that she can join us. So welcome, Valentina.
Thank you so much. Amazing introduction.
We're in New York City, and we're delighted that we have the left coast on the air. It's always great.
Let's go. East Coast, West Coast. I love it. Here for it.
Nice and warm by you. It's in the 30s here, so it's always great to think sunshine.
Oh, yeah. It's hot over here. But I love you.
I always love my California time. So tell us about, you have a unique story. You were born in Colombia and raised in Los Angeles. What was that like, and how old were you when you came to the States?
Yeah, so I was born out there. My mom brought me out when I was just 7 years old. So I've been here like elementary, middle school, high school, raised in LA, raised in the West Coast. So that definitely, like, I identify a lot with that. My dad stayed out in Colombia. My family's out in Colombia, a big part of it. So it was like, the summer breaks from school were always all out there. Super fun. The cultures super different, and it's just having the best of both worlds. Like, really lucky for that.
Now, did the Colombian, the music of Colombia, that's it represented in your music quite a lot, isn't it?
Yes. Colombian music, Colombian sounds, like, you can't help but dance. You can't help but move. It's warm. It's flavorful. So I love it. I love integrating it with different American genres like jazz, blues, hip hop, trap. Like, I think it all meshes really well.
That's great. And coming from an artistic household, tell us what it was like growing up with being the child of actors and models, and how did you know you wanted to be an artist from the very beginning, or is following the family traditions?
Yeah, it's always different growing up in that environment. In LA, you see that more often than not. A lot of my friends, kind of same case scenario. And it's cool. It's very, your life is not structured. Like, I was going to castings with my mom when I was like 1, and like in the audition room, just like in my little like stroller and stuff like that. And then it was a lot of fun for sure. It's different, you don't have again, it's not very structured, so there's more freedom, there's more like independence. So I grew up with a lot of like, making my own decisions and having to figure it out.
Cool. And now you've done commercials, and we're going to talk about your television show that you're on now. But how old were you when you did your first commercial, when you started to get the show business bug?
So I started like dancing. So I did a lot of like dancing jobs when I was a young kid. Commercials, I started auditioning like maybe 8, normal. And my mom was like, let's go get your headshots, go put you in an agency. Like it's a normal thing. Like, it's my first communion, like your first audition or something. Yeah, it was like something for Target, and then I had, I don't know, a Go-Gurt commercial and things like
Cool. My kids have probably seen you on the Go-Gurt commercials, so I understand that entirely. So you do the commercials, you get your kind of feet wet in that, and how about your first acting role? How did that progress?
was my first acting role? It was actually one with my father in Colombia that I did, and it's so weird working with your dad at a young age and seeing him like go from like father to like his acting role. It's the most like impressive, coolest thing ever. And it was really inspiring, and it really like motivated me. And he's a great teacher. Like when I have auditions, I go to him, and yeah, so it's the coolest thing.
That must be what an experience to work with your dad on a professional gig, and yeah, that's really cool. And how does the music fit in there? Did you always sing, and so you were dancing first, and how did you get the urge to sing and then rap?
So actually, the rapping came first. Always loved music. Always loved kind of getting up on stage and singing and performing. I started the dancing got me really into hip hop around like 11, 12 years old, and I just remember I hung out a lot in Venice Beach with a lot of like skaters, and it was just very fun and very free spirited. And one of my friends was really good at freestyling, so we would always just watch him freestyle, and he always did such a dope job. And I started copying it and kind of getting really into it, and I got pretty good at freestyling. Like people were just telling me like you know, this is dope, like you got this. And that's how I got into music. But I never thought music was like a career. I thought the radio was like magical or something. I'm like, I don't know where music comes from, so I never thought of it as a career. It was always just like a hobby that I had. And then kind of, I guess, long story short, was after a couple years, I was like, okay, maybe I should give this a go. I'm seeing people uploading on SoundCloud and things like that. Like, let me just try it. Um, so yeah, I just kind of got into rapping, and then singing was never something that like I identified myself with. I was like, I'm not like a singer, I'm a rapper. But I loved singing. So after being in girl groups as a rapper, I left and I was like, I want to get good at singing. So I went to a conservatory, like a university, a music university, and I got into singing. Really like practice hard, like discipline, like all day, all night type of thing. So yeah.
Now we're talking about something I understand because as a singer, I train singers. And did you study any classical techniques in your singing, or was it different? How did you? What did they teach you?
Funny story. So this is something I definitely wanted to talk to you about. So right out of college, right out of high school, to get in, like I went to like SMC, which is like really cool little public college or whatever. And you had to sign up for like math, science, whatever. I signed up for like math, and then I signed up for all my electives. I got music theory, and then I got singing, and then it was dance. I dropped music theory within 1 week because I was like, this is more homework than like I've ever experienced in my life. And then,
a lot of rules.
Yeah, but now I love it, and I'll get into that. My second class was my singing class, and it was actually a classical like singing class. So I was debating on dropping it because I was like, I am a rapper. What am I gonna do here? Like singing opera, I don't fit in. But I decided to just stick with it, and see what happens. And I just totally like, I loved it, and I really, really owe that class like the foundation, because it really like, I owe it a lot to that class. And whatchamacallit. But yeah, we were learning songs like in Italian and Greek and like all this crazy stuff. So
We certainly do study, and a lot of the languages of classical music tend to be. You do a lot of Italian, German, French, and English, and Spanish as well. But those are one of the primary languages you're going to study in classical voice. What did you learn by studying classical?
I learned the different registers. I learned just tapping into like head voice and mixed voice and breath control, and honestly,
That's the magic. That's the magic one there. Breath control. Any singer who learns breath control, then genre doesn't matter.
Yes, the genre does not matter.
I've never asked this question before anywhere. Does the breath control help your rapping?
It does because it like, I'm a very calculated person, so when you hold, like, you know how long you can rap for when you understand how much breath you have, and like it helps mark when to take your next breath and things. So it does. Like if you put math into it, it like it happens. It works.
Interesting. Well, it's fascinating. I've always wondered, like, how do you come up with freestyle raps? How much do you have to practice? Like, how much of the text, how much of the words, lyrics do you come up with in advance? How do you come up with that the stream of consciousness? How does that work?
Stream of consciousness. I like that. It is. It actually is very much being in the moment, not worrying too much about what you're gonna say. You do have to practice. I can tell that like when I am constantly doing it, like before when I first started, it was like an everyday thing. So it was very easy, it was very natural. If you don't practice, or at least me, like if I don't practice, I'll get very generic and be like, cool, rhymes with pool and blah blah blah. But practice, you just get quicker on like a whim type of thing. When I write it though, I like a lot of artists process just melodies, and then I go and I kind of fill in the blank and try to put in the best punchline, the best rhymes. Like I've seen other artists now, which is very common when they're in the studio recording, they're writing as like they're recording. And although that's a great technique, I'm so impressed. I need to actually like sit down and try to come up with the best rhyme I can.
Fantastic. And now on the song we're going to play at the end of the episode, you sing and you rap both in the same song, and you get to use both of your talents. And what was that like? Have you done that a lot?
Yeah, I do that. Like, I try to do it in every song because I love singing. I love coming up with singing top lines. Like, that's super easy for me. It's so fun for me. I love challenging myself and seeing what, like, the dopest singing top line I can come up with. And then the rap, it's always cool because it's kind of like I'm featuring on my own song. And
Smart.
yeah, so I love them both. I I hope it's acceptable type of thing. It's people sometimes are like, well, you're either a rapper, you're either a singer, you're either this or you're like stay in your lane type of thing. But I feel confident and I love both of them. So yeah, I'm just making music. There's no rules here, and I'm just gonna do what like I love.
And I noticed that in your video, now you also told me before the show that you directed your own video, and you did a lot of the, like, you chose a lot of the angles. And so how did you fit that, and how did you come up with that work?
I think that's where like the parent genes tie in with my mom, being model, actress. My dad is a writer, director and stuff, and actor. So I I appreciate film a lot, and I appreciate people's storytelling and their point of views and how they tell a story. So whenever I write a song, my lyrics are very like, so what's happening here? What's happening here? Are we at the plot? Are we at the resolution? Like, what's going on? And I just kind of close my eyes when I have a new song, and I just write down like what I see, what I want to show visually with the lyrics that I'm saying. And just kind of come up with a storyboard. It's a long process. I did a whole series behind the scenes of like how I came up with it. There's just steps. It's a lot of steps to making it happen. And when I have a vision that I want to put out there, I figure out what steps I have to do like tediously to make it happen.
So when was the music in that song recorded and written?
What's up?
When was that music written? The first one.
When was it written?
Because the video just came out. Is that correct? The video just came out like really recently?
Okay, yes. So that song was actually written, I want to say 2 years ago. And we shot the video and released the video, took it back down, re-edited the video, remixed the song, made it a little better.
It must be an incredible process to put these things together. How many people does it take to make like a video like that happen? How many cameras? How long of editing? I'm just curious. I have no idea. This is so interesting to me.
That's so cool. So focused, believe it or not, it literally was like my best friend and I with this little camera, this Canon T6i camera that I have. And I was like, yo, can I borrow your rooftop real quick? Like, yo, I gotta shoot this, blah, blah, blah. I wrote a video treatment that was like at that time just accessible and easy to do and nothing crazy. It was my first video, so yeah, I'm really happy with how it came out. Like to right now, I'm shocked that like we did all that because now, for example, my last music video, that was a whole movie on its own of just creating it. Like that took about 20 people, maybe like 30 total with dancers and editors and not editors, the color person. It was a lot. It was a lot of work, and it was a lot of camera. It was a lot of like lighting and blah 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 location.
There's so many different components to the art when you do visual like that, and you add that to the music, and it's really magic when you put it all together and it's finished.
I love it. I love doing it. And a lot of people are like, you know, you should stick to like your music and don't worry about stuff like that. But I thoroughly enjoy it. I love seeing my like ideas come to life, and I don't mind getting, you know, dirty and putting in the work and the time to just, you know, make it happen.
It's complicated, and you have to. Now you also are a very busy actress. How do you balance your musical schedule with your acting schedule?
It is the key is time management in life. I am such a like scheduling person. Like if it's not on the schedule, it will not happen. I schedule like my breaths. Like it needs to my day needs to be planned out. I need to and that's really it. It's prioritizing, you know, sometimes an audition is due tomorrow and I have a session that I balance it out, you know, like the session can maybe wait since this audition is literally due in the morning type of thing. But also acting works in the day. A lot of musicians work at night. So I have like this night and day shift. But it's
I
fun.
understand that completely. We're a creative household too, and I'm usually up studying music. In my normal life, I'd be a conductor. I'd be studying opera scores and symphonies till 3 in the morning. And my children get up in school, and I'm still sleeping. Then I get up and I have to teach as well, and you kind of make it work. But
Yep.
so when you're doing you're also you have a leading role on that television show Coyote Hills.
Mm-hmm.
What's that like?
That was a beautiful, magical role and experience. I remember wanting that with all my heart and soul. I never wanted a role so bad, and I was like, I don't care. I will get it. I will manifest it. I will work so hard on it. And, you know, thank God I booked it. It was super fun shooting it. We shot in Mexico. The director, the whole team, everyone behind it is just such talented and creative and nice people. I love that team. The show, I believe it's being pitched or something is going on. But I'm excited for what the future has to hold with that series.
So how much time was it when you're on the set in Mexico? How long did it take to film that, and how did that work with your schedule? And did you have to live there for a chunk of time?
So it was a 2 week period of shooting. Long days when you're on set. You know, you have up to 16-hour days. Whatchamacallit. And it worked out fine. I mean, I put everything on hold in my life. Thankfully, the only other thing I do is music. So I put music on hold for during that time. Actually, no. During that time, I was shooting my music video. So while I was like on set, I was like scheduling rehearsals and like booking locations. And I'm like, I'll be back this day. Like, just hold on, and making sure like the wardrobe is being made and all this stuff. So, you know, it's cool, and we're lucky because we get to do a lot of things remotely. So it works out,
That is the key to everything, right? Is remote these days, especially.
especially.
So how has COVID changed your day to day as an artist, and how have you adapted to that?
Um, this year was supposed to be very different for me and for a lot of people, I assume. Um, the plan was like a tour and being in Colombia and just yeah, just like honestly, like this year was just gonna be lots of shows, lots of tours. Great year to do that. Um, so it's okay. You know, it's okay. Health. We needed. We didn't need this, but it just goes to show how health is such an important thing, and that is above work. Anything like if you don't have that, you suffer. The people around you suffer. So it, you know, a year to sit back and just chill and analyze doesn't hurt for the people who are like get sick, and I think we're gonna appreciate a lot more. And I think there's gonna be a big shift in our perspective, in our demeanors, in the way we treat each other. There's just gonna be a positive shift out of this. Just looking at the glass half full.
I think you have to look at the glass. As artists, the people will need the art more than ever when we come out of this. That's how I choose to look at it, and it's very very sage advice you have on there. Is just find that half glass full and find something to work on now. What have been your COVID discoveries? What have you done during this period that's maybe something different that you wouldn't have done otherwise?
I've learned to mix a little more than
Okay.
normal. So yeah, just getting I've been writing a lot, recording myself at home. That's something that I did not do before COVID. But I did it. I bought all this stuff and just really like figured out how to do it, sending vocals back and forth, like learning how to EQ my stuff, how exactly I want it, and so all these cool things that I love that I know, it makes it quicker.
Yeah, I guess when you go back to the studio, you'll be there and you'll know much more of what's possible, and it'll be a much quicker process, probably.
Yes, everyone out the way. Engineer Valley.
I love it. I love it. Straight ahead, batten down the hatches. So, yeah, it's been such a crazy time with all the live performances being canceled. What are some of the venues you perform in your hometown?
I haven't performed in Colombia yet. I wanted,
Ooh.
I know, but I since I put out music, the times that I went out was more like working and recording, not really promotion or anything. So we were gonna go hard with like shows down there. We even had like shows lined up and stuff. Um, Earlier I've done a couple little venue type of things. But as of last week, I have my band back together. We are all learning new arrangements and working on, just now we might as well like really prepare, really get the songs down, really get the set down. So when things start opening up again, we can come in hard, like dancers, the whole nine.
So tell me about the band. What are the members of the band, and how'd you guys meet, and how'd you form?
So I went to Musicians Institute. I don't know if you've heard about it, but I literally live across the street from it. It's an amazing music college. I 100% recommend it. I remember, like, just when I went there, I fell in love. I was like, this is what I need. This is what I need to, like, get that competence and be able to go in the studio and really, like, communicate what I want. And I owe so much to that school, like vocally, the training, the stage help, but mostly obviously meeting my band members, meeting my teachers, people who I will collaborate with for the rest of my life. So yeah, I met them all there. My guitarist, my drummer, my bass, my keys. I love them.
Do you write the music collaboratively, or do you come up with melodies and show it to them? How does the process work for you?
So no, I personally write the songs with like a music producer. Just throw back like some chords, some drums, and we collaborate on that. I write the top lines, write the lyrics, and then I go to my band and I'm like, this is so. It's not like I'm like in a band. Like
Sure.
they will play with me. I'm so comfortable with them. They know me. They know my vibe. They know my rhythm. Me and my drummer are very like, he knows what I want when I kind of give him like a look and like da da da, and
So important that the drummer and you with your dancing background, you and the drummer
yes,
must be really tight. That's very important.
yes, 100%. They're awesome. They're all super talented, young talented kids, and I can't wait to like travel the world and tour with them.
Very exciting. Well, that'll come when we start to open up again. I look forward to hearing some of those projects.
We have a. This is the first time I'm announcing it. We have
Cool.
a live taping coming out, I believe the 30th of this month. It is me and my band performing my latest single. That is all the information I will give, but stay tuned for that.
Okay.
Amazing.
So why don't you tell us how can we find out more about you? Where should we go for the most up-to-date information on you?
So you can follow me on Instagram. My updates go there first at Valentina Colombia. Colombia is with an O, not with a U. Thank you very much. YouTube, Valentina MAMI. What else? Spotify, Valentina MAMI, Apple Music, all that good stuff.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure that our audiences check that out. That's important. And wow, yeah. So you do so many things well. How do you, what about your different art forms? How do you see them working together?
A lot of them go hand in hand, and there's been times where I've, how I was talking to you before we went on, like my acting team will be like, come here. My music team will be like, come here, and I'll go to my parents. I'm like, damn. But they're like, you know what? They go hand in hand. Like, you can really, what acting has helped me, for example, I had to write a song about long distance relationship, and that's something I never experienced. So I really put myself in that character, in those shoes of having a long distance relationship, and like the song came out great. And I think just the acting skills where you can shift into different perspectives and even have different demeanors and think a different way can help write music that resonates with different types of people, different walks of life. And I recommend everyone in the world to take an improv class, because the on the spot pressure it gives you to just think on your feet is super amazing. Like social skills, you're good, you're set.
That and your rap freestyle rapping, same thing. It's all in the moment improvisation right there.
Yes.
So that's something you worked a lot at.
Yeah, honestly, like for me, knowledge is key. I love learning. I love studying. I know you were saying that you stay up studying all this amazing stuff till 3 a.m. and I
say I'm like a conductor is like if you look at an iceberg, right? You see the top of the iceberg, but the bottom of the iceberg is like the 90% of the iceberg, and that's all the study and the homework you do, and before the rehearsals, the preparation. I've got to know all the orchestra's parts and all the singers' parts, and then I can tell them what I want because I know what I want.
How do you? The roles have switched. I will now answer.
I love it.
How do you discipline and motivate yourself to really learn and embody those things?
I've been doing this now for 25 years in my professional career, and it's the music that fires me up. I'm always discovering. It's like looking at a great painting. You look at like a master painting, and you change the angle, the perspective is completely different. Every time I take a piece of music and you take it apart and you study it to get ready to prepare, it's like looking at this great painting at a different angle. Yeah. And it's so exciting. Like I'm a nerd. I love to study. I love to be in my music and alone with my music. And it's like figuring out a puzzle that only I can solve. And then the puzzle comes to life in front of an orchestra.
Ooh, I like that. It's like a puzzle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's it's creation, and yes. I see all the arts as creation, and that we're involved in this creation, and we make it come to life. And it must be like when you saw your video for the first time, all finished.
Yes. Tears.
Yeah, it's all those months of work and all that practice and study, and you put it all together, and then there it is for the world to see.
Yeah, 100%. It's the little things that add up. Like, oh my god, I lost your sound. I can't hear you. Oh my god, is it me? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Oh no, Chewie, save me.
Going out there.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, and I think we lost Valentina's sound. Valentina, why don't you dial back in and we'll find your sound again. We are at the whims of technology these days, especially when we're telecommuting across the country. but such a talented young lady and doing such interesting things. I think here's a real rising star in the entertainment field, and we're going to see Miss Valentina for years to come. And we'll get her back on the line any second. Be sure to chat in questions. Anyone has any questions for either me or for Valentina, and we'd love to have our audience chat back in. Welcome again. It's all right. No, of course not. And it's a podcast. We're chill. We have our first question from the audience. We have this is Steve from Ohio, and he asks, "Do you put a lot of yourself into your songs?"
Yes, 100%. I typically like to reserve myself for my songs. I like to tell my stories, my thoughts, my point of view through my songs. So even with interviews and things like that, like you won't know everything until I can put it in my music.
Isn't that interesting? Music has that ability to just communicate so easily and so effortlessly.
Yeah, and I love metaphors. I like this Dios mío, dissecting metaphors and just the ways I say things that go a lot deeper.
Yeah, I notice your lyrics have a lot of, there's certainly you've got references to you. I saw you wear a Columbia jersey. I saw, you certainly reference Columbia in your music, so you get both worlds in there. And so, what was that first song about?
Focused.
Yes.
Focused is one of my first songs, and it was a song that I wrote kind of like a farewell to a relationship that I had, that I felt was kind of possessive in a way where I didn't feel like I could pursue music and acting just because it would make that person feel insecure. And I feel like some people have related to me, so that song is kind of like I say, baby, I'm just focused, like I love you, I'm sorry, but I'm now gonna focus on myself and on my career. And
You certainly are a focused individual. Just from the time I've met you, you are razor focused, which is great.
thank you.
And it's a great lesson to teach people, to share with people. And have you had fans write in? That piece has gotten quite a lot of play on Spotify. Have you had people write into you about what that has meant to them?
Yes, and on it, one of them was actually someone who was like around my group of friends in school and stuff. They messaged me. They're like, I know you don't know me, but I went to school with you, and I really like saw your life kind of from a distance, from where you started to where you're at, and it really inspired me to focus, to like stop what I was doing, stop the path that I was going, and you know direct myself towards a better future. And so that really, like, that's what I was going for. I'm like, good, because reading and learning and studying really shifted my life, and I am here to like push that onto the youth, and even not even the youth, anyone who just needs it, and needs just guidance and an example that your mentality and your habits, your virtues, everything can really like shift your life.
Now, you do a lot of social media posting and work like that. And how do you try to get that message across in your social media?
My social media, I try to keep it organized and just very, particular. And I incorporate a lot of quotes and messages that resonate with me. My saves on Instagram are literally just a book of quotes and motivational things. I love people like Gary Vee and Ty Lopez, Tony Robbins, just motivational people who have taken social media and really like have reached so many kids. I love it. I'm like part of that. I'm part of that crew.
And that's interesting. Social media can have the effect of being incredibly negative, and you're turning it as a tool to the positive.
Yes, everything can be good or bad. It's just really how you handle it, how you incorporate it in your life, and how you influence people with it. it's a loaded gun, to be honest, and nowadays. So I just want to use it for good. I like to be smart with it. So yeah.
That's a great thing, and I really noticed that I was oh, that's very interesting. She's quoting Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. I'm like, well, that's really cool and good for you, and that's a great tool that anyone can learn from.
I love that book. If I could recommend one book, it is that book. That is my second Bible. I love it. I'm here for it.
Now, now your parents were your parents musical as well? Are they in theater and music?
My parents gave it a go in their day. My mom
Hmm.
was like in like a group, and my dad I think recorded like a couple of songs, and they just I think they both were like, I'm just gonna stick to acting. This isn't really my thing, and it's at least for me, or for a lot of people, like deciding that music is going to be your career is kind of a gnarly decision. There's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of competition, but I think the tenacity and the discipline, the bigger picture, um, having grit, you can't lose.
Certainly, a musician's pathway is never an easy one, but the rewards are so great when you can like touch audiences and you get to write and you get to make music that affects people. It's really a powerful tool.
The best. I
And when
can't.
you get to
It's fun.
combine that with your acting, you get to do both.
Yes, I can't
And
wait.
question on your stage name of Mami, Mami. How did that come about?
So, I befriended this kid in middle school who's always really good at drawing, and like would draw these really cool, and I would always notice graffiti on the street, and I'm like, that is cool. Like I like very extravagant and different type of art and abstract things, and so I asked him, I'm like, can you like teach me how to do that? And he helped me like figure out tagging and like graffiti and stuff like that, and I got really into it. I think I saw the movie like Bring It On when I was like 11, and this girl called herself Mommy, and I was like, because I'm Colombian, I'm like this little chick, I'm gonna call myself Mommy. So I started tagging Mommy, and I thought it was all hardcore and stuff, and I'm like, what's up, this is Mommy, blah, blah, blah. And I just got really into it.
And it stuck. And I'm looking at. I had to ask because your background is a little bit of that. We have that tagging in the background and your artwork there. Did you do that?
I'm missing a vinyl. This thing
Oh,
fell while I was sleeping at like 3 in the morning. I'm like, okay, the world's ending. I'm done. What's happening?
I'm glad it wasn't an earthquake. You're in LA. It's always a
Oh yeah,
always a
just another
consideration.
earthquake. No biggie. No, I didn't do this. My friend Enrique, that I've known for like 15 years, blessed me with this amazing gift. The process was so fun. I documented it. I'm gonna post it on TikTok. He's so talented, such a great artist. I don't condone vandalism. Be careful where you tag and write. Don't blame me. But
That is certainly like a So you have a love of art as well. That comes along with your theater and with your music. Art is another aspect of that.
yeah, just visually, I'm a very visual person, and like I see colors when I hear music, and just things that catch my eye, that help me express my music and my feelings. Like I'm all here for it. New York has a lot of really cool graffiti actually in street art.
We're seeing a lot more of these. I was in New York for a recording session yesterday, and I saw a lot of graffiti in places I'd never seen before. And there was some of it is so creative. Like, that's interesting. like really, I had to stop and look at it. Like, oh, okay. And then yeah, some people have such talents.
Some, yes, not all.
That's true. So, how do you have you met a lot of music and theater legends being in town? And so, who are some of the stars that you can name that you've been inspired by and maybe met?
Yeah, being in LA, like even just in school, I see now like supermodels and actresses that are killing it. people I've came across people, you know, luckily I've worked at studios that are cool and next door, like Iggy Azalea will be recording. That was kind of recent. You know, a lot of people here and there. Built some cool relationships, and hopefully, you know, you'll see them on my songs soon.
Okay, I hope to see that in the years to come. So tell me, who's an artist that you've been incredibly inspired by that you haven't met yet that you'd like to sit down and meet with someday?
Oh my God, Eminem.
Eminem, okay, freestyle master, right?
Yes, I would love to sit down and I fucking lose it anytime I even think about it. I'd love to sit down and talk to him and just I appreciate his process of writing a song. That's inspired me a lot to really take time with like punchlines and rhymes and what you're trying to say. His storytelling is amazing. His confident and just like I admire like his careless to the public. Like it does not phase him. He will write and say what he wants. Um, and it, you know, there'll probably be more hate than love, and it doesn't. You know, the love. He looks at that. So yeah, I would love to work with him and sit down and talk.
And he's a living person. How about someone who maybe someone who's no longer with us? An artist can be from any period of time. Someone you just say, "Boy, I wish I could." I would love to ask a question. For me, it would be sit down with Beethoven or sit down with Verdi or something like. Because I'm a classical guy, but who would it be for you if you could sit down with anyone from any time period?
Michael Jackson was the first thing that came to my mind.
Ooh.
Because of just the timelessness of his songs. Like every time you hear for the first time, every time you hear it could be like the first time type of thing. And I just want to know his like everything about his process.
I heard he was a fanatic in the studio. He could sing everyone's part. He was just, he knew exactly what he wanted. The guy was incredible. He grew up around great artists from his earliest age, and a real like studio master.
Oh, I would love to see that. Tupac.
There are a lot of interviews with his band members. Like his band members talk about him and like, wow, these band members are so good, and they were just like the reverence they had for Michael Jackson was incredible.
Wow, that's amazing. And that just it's doing the work. It's just loving the music and wanting it to be, just giving it respect and giving it justice. That's something that as classical music, I am such a fan. I respect so much the time and the appreciation and the respect towards music. Going to a music college, it was mostly classical, contemporary as well, but the school never closed. It was 24/7, and I would be in my vocal lab and I would, when I would walk out, I just see these kids on piano and on the guitar, the whatever violin, just 4, 5, 6 in the morning going in. I'm like, that is amazing.
It's what it takes to get good at your craft and to be ready for that next step. And it's the same thing you do when you put all your various aspects together. It's that discipline and that focus. Nothing good happens without that focus in any field.
Yep. It's a work ethic that'll get you to another level.
Very cool. Now, you said that Tupac was another one? I cut you off there.
I'm thinking, yeah, Tupac would be cool as well. Another great storyteller. His message was really cool too. His way of combining, I think, like a positive message with street, so the kids could embody it, so it doesn't feel like a lecture. It doesn't feel like Christian music. I don't know. I love Christian music, but his way of just putting the message out there. I love it, and I look up, and that's something I want to do. Like, I want to put out a positive message out there, but still do it in a way where it's relevant, where like the kids who listen to what's popular will also listen and will also take away like a good message from it.
Very strong. I want to thank you so much. Once again, where can people find out more about you, and what's your next event that's coming out, or next release that's going to be?
So
Tell me
my name is Valentina MAMI. You can find me on Instagram under Valentina Colombia. On YouTube, everywhere else, you will find me as Valentina MAMI. I have a live taping coming out the 30th. I just released Focused and Me Gusta Así on Spotify, everywhere, YouTube, music videos. Go check them out. And
We're going to play that video as soon as we finish up our interview as a kind of an exit, so people can enjoy that again.
perfect. Thank you so much for having me. This was super fun.
Such a blast. I wish you're a really special person. I wish you a wonderful career in the next couple of years. I hope that as COVID opens up, your live performance takes off and your acting takes off, and I can't wait to watch.
Thank you so much. Much love.
Thank you for joining us on Music Matters with Jason Tramm. Remember, hit that subscribe button and that bell icon for the most up-to-date information on upcoming guests and topics. Our next guest will be a WQXR host in New York City. He's a Peabody Award-winning journalist. This is Elliot Forrest. That'll be on the 27th of December at 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining us, and remember, keep music alive. Good night.